Hey guys, this is Dan Collier for the Sons of Light and the Truth Council. And so today I've got a very unusual but true explanation and definition to help you understand, where did all of these woke words come from? Did they just arise out of society being in such a detrimental state that we are such an evil and cruel society with all of these moralistic and people following all of these things that have kept society going for thousands of years, and how those people are just so evil that we need to go back to the types of things that caused societies to get weak and collapse and families to break up, that those are the good people, and those of us who follow the moral and good and the things that keep society together, we're the evil ones. Right? This is the flip-flop, and this is what the shadow people have done with their spellcast onto the young, and this started back in the 60s, but in reality, it really started thousands of years ago in many different societies. As you look at, arguments from the senates of ancient Greece and Rome and these countries where they became too affluent, and then the aristocracy wanted to keep their positions, and they knew they needed to keep civil unrest, or people in these arguments about ideologies, and so they led to the destruction of these great civilizations through wokeness. It's old, man. King Solomon said there's nothing new under the sun. It's all grasping at the wind. Here are just a few terms. I have another prompt that I created to get AI to do the work for us when it comes to terms and deciphering what the woke shadow people are doing through their spellcast on us. And I'll give it to you for free when you join the Truth Council. I'll have a link below. And let's just read a few of these words you hear all the time on the news, and really they have opposite meanings of what they sound like because it's spellcast, spelling, grimoire, grammar. Right? It's all witchcraft on the mind, what they call a psyops now, but it is witchcraft. The term privilege, static use. Powerful elites use the concept of privilege to sow guilt and create hierarchical frameworks that divide society along lines of race, gender, and class. By highlighting perceived privilege, elites create a sense of moral superiority and shame in certain groups, example, white individuals, men, and the wealthy, and promote policies aimed at redistribution rather than addressing root causes of problems. So this focuses on privilege, diverts attention from systematic issues like economic inequality, and undermines the concept of individual responsibility and merit. It weakens society's coercion. Equity. Unlike equality, which emphasizes equal opportunity, equity is promoted as a corrective tool to achieve equal outcomes. It doesn't work. This is a term that elites use to justify redistributive policies that benefit specific groups at the expense of others. Oh, we don't want to think about the expense of others to get where we want to go. By framing equity as a moral imperative, they push for government intervention in areas like education, healthcare, and employment, undercutting personal responsibility and individual achievement. This focuses on outcome-based fairness, weakens societal incentive for hard work and self-improvement, and encourages dependency on the state solution instead of community-driven efforts. Of course, they want equity. It gives the shadow people their power. Social justice. The term social justice is appropriated to promote an ideology agenda that aligns with progressive values rather than true justice. Powerful groups push for policies that are marked as promoting social justice, but in practice, they erode traditional moral values like individual rights and the rule of law. Through the lens of social justice, institutions are manipulated to conform to policies, correctness, and suppress dissent. In other words, freedom of speech is erased. It's used to justify authoritative control that limits free speech, rewrites history, and pushes for policies that undermine the moral fabric of society, all while presenting these actions as virtuous. Isn't that the truth? Toxic masculinity. This is the weaponization of masculinity, and it aims to undermine traditional male roles and values as leadership, self-reliant, and strength by framing these traits as inherently damaging. Powerful groups promote a vision of society where gender roles are fluid, whatever that means, and traditional masculine virtues are seen as undesirable. How's that working out for you, single ladies? This weakening of masculinity erodes the stability of the family unit and traditional societal structures. It makes it easy for elites to control both men and women by reducing the emphasis of personal responsibility and the values that traditionally held communities together. Right? If you want to weaken society as the shadow people, you introduce this ideology to young minds where they think that some kind of injustice has occurred to them at 20 years old in a college drinking Starbucks. They're terrible, terrible, oh, so oppressed. I've been to college. I know. The last thing, wait till you get into real life. You'll realize how good you had it. Safe space. Places marked as environments where individuals can avoid discomfort and engage in only ideologically approved conversation. The weaponization of this term creates silos in which only certain viewpoints are allowed, pushing the narrative of conformity while discouraging critical discourse. By promoting these safe spaces, elites limit the free exchange of ideas and suppress the open, sometimes uncomfortable dialogue that is essential for a functioning society. So in other words, you just isolate the thought process where only this or only that can be discussed. You create the most single-minded, it's like putting blinders on people. Systemic racism. Oh, who wants to be a racist, right? How terrible that idea. Well, racism is bad, but not when it's used in the terms of which they mean. It is a strategic use term. Systemic race, it's used to argue that racism is embedded in every facet of society. That shadow groups use this to justify large-scale interventions such as government-enforced diversity quotas. That means putting people into jobs because of their race, regardless of whether it's the safest person, if it's the best person for that job, if it'll produce the best outcome for society. They determined that the best outcome is to place someone there via their race or their identity rather than whether they can actually be a benefit to you and I and your children. So anyway, that's as far as I want to go with that. Identity politics. The elites use this to identify politics to fragment society by focusing on group identity rather than shared values and common interests. This term produces the idea that individuals are primarily defined by their race, gender, or sexual orientation, rather than their individual character or actions. You're basically like your physical appearance is what defines you, not your character. By creating division along these lines, the shadow people can manipulate these groups into voting blocks and maintain control of political power and ensure fragmented and divided societies. The identity politics distracts from larger social issues and encourage dependency on government, dependency on the shadow people to be the dictators and controllers, to basically get the prisoners to guard the prison. Cultural appropriation. Cultural appropriation is used to sow division between different cultural groups by accusing individuals of stealing or misusing cultural elements. Oh, you've stolen my identity. You're wearing a hat that looks like something my ancestors used to wear. I'm offended. Elites exploit this term to stifle cultural exchange and create a sense of moral outrage. Oh, I'm so offended. I'm so angry. I spilt my Starbucks. Oh. Using it as a means to prevent individuals from exploring or appreciating diverse cultural practices by promoting guilt and enforcing strict boundaries around cultural expressions. Elites limit open exchange, further dividing society along racial and cultural lines and fostering resentment between groups. So guys, I'm not going to go on and on with this. There is a list of over 100 of these that the media is using, and the actors and actresses who are following the scripts that they're paid to do. I've been doing this now for over 24 years, exposing this because I was an advertising and marketing major and had my first taste of how all this is done, and how as far back as I know as the late 1800s, early 1900s, even from a guy called Edward Bernays, who was Sigmund Freud's nephew, who got women to start smoking through the use of exploitation of the witchcraft motives by using actresses and pushing a narrative that was a social outrage and turning it around and making small groups of businessmen lots of money to the detriment of society. And if you study his tactics and the things that went on, you will know that these terms that I have used here and explained a little bit of are simply a tactic to destroy a nation so that these people can take over. So this is worldwide, and it is being used on Christian nations. What I'd like you to understand, it is a tactic of takeover to form what people, these woke kids are being taught that communism is a good thing. And so you need to know who helps create, who has fostered and implemented communism, who started it in the Bolshevik Revolution in the Soviet Union. There was a small group of minority people who controlled the banks, who got it started there and assassinated and overthrew the czars, who through the banking systems got it started in North Korea, who got it started in communist China, which you hear very little about that because they haven't been overthrown yet, and who are implementing it in the United States right now. We are talking a less than 1% population who control the banks and the systems, who are implementing this through a religious book they follow, where all of this is called for. And it is a form and a way through Babylonian magic to destroy society. And then once it is destroyed and weakened, they keep it in that state. And then they maintain ultimate control and profit off of it because the people are too concerned with the stupidities of these mindsets. And they create a race and a society of dumbed down people. It is simply a formula that has been used for thousands of years. And if you'd like to learn more, if you'd like the AI prompt and the entire methodology of revealing all of this and creating your own list of words and how these things are done, and joining a group of people who are resisting, exposing, and fighting this, you can join us at the Truth Council. I'll leave a link below, and it is a school. You learn all kinds of cool stuff, and you got a community of people who think just like you, supporting and giving greater information. You're going to love it if you feel called. There is a scripture in the Bible that says, whom shall I send? And the response is, send me, Lord, send me. Hey guys, and welcome. This is Dan Collier for the Truth Council. I'm just giving a little impromptu and casual introduction to you. And so what is the Truth Council about? It is about awakening your purpose. Most people go through their life in quiet desperation, never reaching their true purpose. And if you're a spiritual-minded person who believes there's more to life than what's actually going on or what we've been told about, we're going to help you through our community and family and courses unlock hidden knowledge and help you to rise to your true calling, because everyone knows deep down inside they have one. So with over 1 million views we have had on our social media platforms, we have heard your calling for a private group who wants more and wants to actually fulfill and do these things. So come here to learn secrets. You can come here and just be here just to learn secrets and get knowledge for yourself. Or you can come here to share your message and build a following in just 30 days. So you can get more leads to grow your business if you haven't, and we'll teach you how to grow and create an online business or a side hustle. Or you can do it to grow an outreach. Let's say you have a message you feel like you're supposed to share, and perhaps you want to raise money for it while you're also reaching people so you can actually reach more people over time. We'll teach you how to reach $10,000 online to serve your calling. So inside the Truth Council, we have a business outreach course, and that's worth about $997. You'll learn how to do that for business and outreach, the step-by-step processes. You'll also learn health and long life courses on keeping yourself healthy and your family instead of trusting the science, right? We know all about that. Also, how to do online business for your outreach. I mentioned that, but that's about a $1,500 course. And if you've never done it before, it just helps to have a community of people talking about it, helping you through this process, and someone like myself who had to learn the hard way at 50-some years old, going through all of these painstaking steps and also having to deal with all of this scammy baloney that's out there, the people trying to get you to join their $1 million roundtables and their how I made XYZ money. And really what's happening is these people went to some course somewhere they got, and they're just reading off of scripts to get you in, and then they read more off of a script. And most of it is baloney that used to work maybe in 2017 and doesn't work anymore. Ask me how I know this type of stuff. I was in the real estate business as a real estate investor for many years, and I got caught up a couple times in these scammy people where they would charge $2,000 for a course or more. You'd go to these seminars and they would teach you all this in-depth stuff about things, and then only later to learn as you began to apply them that they're things that used to work several years ago, and that's why they're now on tour or giving all these programs about how to do stuff. It's because it used to work and they did make money at, but it doesn't work anymore. And that is just outright, that's just outright lying to people. And so there is probably 99% of all the things you see online about that. That's what you're getting is the used to work stuff in 2017, and now it's 2024 and beyond, almost 2025. That stuff doesn't work anymore. So we have a family working together. Not only will I teach a course with you, but the family itself will share all of its knowledges and things with each other on how to grow your outreach. And everyone, I don't care who you are, if you're not doing business, you should at least have an outreach sharing your ideas and information to the world to help change it, because that's what you're here for. You got to have a purpose. So also we're going to have live master classes, kind of like webinars and things, where you can join in if you want and be part of that group and learn things. And if you happen to miss it at some point in time, you got a weird schedule, we'll save them so you can watch them, keep them up for a few days so you don't ever miss out on anything. So the total value of all of these courses and things that you'll be getting is about $6,844. So you also will get a free 7-day trial. And then after that, it's going to be only $49 a month. Nothing. Listen, you go out to eat somewhere, you and your wife or you and your husband or whatever, you go out to eat, and it's over $50 for one meal that you're going to forget about. So if you want to make it in life, if you really want to break out of where you're at, you're going to have to invest in yourself, and there's no better way than in a community of people. So if it was just me sharing knowledge with you, you would be getting a lot of value. But you're getting all of these other people who come in with their own personal experiences on all kinds of things, who share things about hidden knowledge that you want to know about, because knowledge is power, business things that work, and online stuff, side hustle things. It's all about becoming the well-rounded person. You know, a lot of people, like Christians, they believe that if they're poor, they're closer to God. Well, if you can remember, Jesus was talking to his disciples and he said, hey, the poor you'll have among you always. So were his disciples poor? I don't think so. They were businessmen. They had their own businesses and such. And one was a tax collector, one was a doctor. So here we go with the idea that poor, the Bible says that poverty is a curse. So if you have this mindset, you have to remember Abraham was very wealthy. Solomon, probably the wealthiest and smartest man who ever lived. King David, he was wealthy. Jesus, when he was born, he had wise men who were kings and magi bring, gold and frankincense, all the most valuable stuff. They were not poor. Okay, so the poor mentality has been given to you by someone else. The people who are now raking in all the money and gaining power and position, who are on the evil side, have taught you this message. We're going to help you break free of that, because the more wealth you have, the more outreach you can have for your business or your ministry or whatever you're doing to reach more people. Makes sense, right? So there you go. That's why it is important to join. And right now, so this membership's going to go up. We're just going to keep it at $49 for a little while for people to join on. That's nothing. I mean, less than going out to eat. So if you get it now, you can lock in this price, $49 a month. And if you don't get it now, then the price is going to go up, like I said. So it's better to do this now. So once you join, you download, you're going to download the free Collab app, and it's going to go directly to your iOS or your Android, or you can open it up on your laptop or your PC at home, and you see everything. You can share things with each other. There's a big, it's like Facebook, where there was Facebook groups and stuff, except without the censorship. So you can share things that, you can share things and talk about subject matters, whether it's political involved in it, whether it's government stuff that is suppressing your knowledge or ability to do things. You can share these things with each other on here because it's a private group, and learn how to overcome these things, how to, whether it's tax stuff or whatever, or things about hidden knowledge from buried buildings to the Smithsonian blocking off part of the Grand Canyon so that you can't go see the Egyptian hieroglyphs in the caves and things that are out there. I mean, it's crazy what has been buried from us. So I'm going to welcome you to the family. I'm going to tell you what the group is about, is creating the most well-rounded person who can live out their purpose-driven life instead of staying stuck in this mental prison that they want to keep us in. Believe me, if you've heard any of our videos and the stuff we talk about, you'll know what's going on here. So you've joined this community. The value you will get from this membership price is exponential in your enjoyment of knowing that there's a family out there from South Africa to England to all around the world. People join this group. So I'm welcoming you. This is Dan Collier. You're going to get all of this value, everything I can think of to share with you that's been in my head from having several businesses over a year, I'm going to share with you. Plus the books I have written, information from there, and from the videos that we do. This is a family and group thing, though. It's not about me. It's about you guys. So welcome to the family. Thank you for joining. We'll see you soon.